G'day everyone, or should I say buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
It's Justin and
Scott.
two dads again from Brum, Australia, coming to you today from a 2018 Alfa Giulia. Now mate, I thought I'd get us a drive of the Alfa Giulia. And have you had much experience with Italian cars?
Not much experience with Italian cars.
Oh, okay, all right.
I've got a bit of a long history in Australia. Been here, gone away, come back, around the place.
Yeah. But if I say Alfa Romeo, what do you think of?
Something with a bit of passion and a bit of sportiness, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I would envisage Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, I've owned a couple of them in my time, and I've heard other people say, like, if you're a true car enthusiast, you have to own an Alfa at least once in your life.
Okay.
Now, this car here, it's the latest sort of sporting sedan from Alfa Romeo. It came out, I guess, early last year, and it's a typical Alfa. It's lovely. It's gone back to rear-wheel drive, which Alfa's the sort of Alfa went a bit front-wheel drive and had different cars like the 156 and the 159 and things like that. But this has gone back to, I guess, their roots. It's a rear-wheel drive, 50-50 weight distribution sporting sedan. And I have to say, I've had it for the last couple of days, and I love it. I've fallen back in love with Alfa. It's great.
Well, the rear-wheel drive, we've driven a few rear-wheel drives recently, haven't we?
That's right.
So
that's right.
It's been exciting. Yeah, a bit old school. Everything else is going.
Yeah, but it sort of it gives the best sporting sort of feel to the car, I think. I mean, if you think about all the good cars out there that are really sporty and have got the good feel, pretty much rear-wheel drive, aren't they? So,
Yep.
Now, this Alfa Giulia we're in today, we're actually in the entry-level model. It's 59,895 list price. It comes in a couple of extra versions. There's a Alfa Giulia Super, which is about 64,195. That's got a bit more luxury gear in it.
Yep.
You've got the, forgive me if my pronunciation's no good, Veloce, 71,895, which is a sportier version of the car, I suppose. It comes with an upgraded 2-litre engine in there. And the top of the range
Is that the same 2-litre engine?
I believe so. It's just been pumped up a bit with the power and the torque.
Yep.
But the top of the range one, which is like a BMW M3 competitor or something, Quadrifoglio. I'll just say QV.
Yep.
Excuse my Italian. 143,900, 375 kilowatts, and it does 0 to 100 in 3.9 seconds now.
Okay, so I think we're talking about two different cars almost, aren't we?
Okay,
Yeah, they
right.
may come with the same name plate, but they're really much double the price, different league, sounds exciting.
We'll come back to what we're driving today,
Yep.
which is the Giulia. The Giulia comes with a 2-litre turbo engine. It has 147 kilowatts at 5,000 RPM, 330 Newton meters at a low 1750 RPM. So the torque starts off in a nice sort of low end of the rev range. It does 6.6 seconds, 0 to 100. And it's, combined fuel consumption figure of about 6 litres per 100 Ks. In Australia, we get it with the 8-speed auto only. It's a ZF auto.
Okay.
Paddles, beautiful paddles.
Oh, they're magic. They're magic. It does. There's a couple of parts about this car, and the paddles are one that makes you sort of feel like you're more in a Maserati or a Ferrari.
Yeah.
And the paddles are
you
one
can tell
of
that
those.
Italian heritage, can't you?
Yeah.
So, all right, mate. So you've had to drive this car over the last, couple of days, I suppose, as well.
Yeah.
Give us your driving impressions.
Well, about 3 or 4 days ago, I had a short drive of this car, and at first it was a bit different. So I almost felt like I was going to criticise it a little bit because things were a bit different to what we're used to in some of the other cars.
Yep.
Having reflected on it for a few days though, however, I was excited to get back into it. So some of the things I noticed at first was the steering. It is incredibly direct.
Yeah.
And because it was different, I thought, oh, that's no good, right? But then after I thought about it for a bit, I actually love the steering now because it just takes a little bit of getting used to.
Yep.
And then I think everyone would really fall in love with it. I love my sports mode, so the other day threw it into sport mode, and again it's a bit more aggressive than a lot of the other sports modes. And at first I thought it was a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too punchy, and then after I was thinking, What's the point of sports mode? It's to actually be a bit punchy and a bit different. You don't have to drive in it all the time, but when you put it on, you want it to be different, right?
That's right.
So again, I changed my mind. So I think this car does some things very differently.
It's inherently sporty. That's the philosophy of Alfa. It's stylish and it's sporty, and as you say, like, you know, the system that they do, that sports system, is a bit different to everybody else. They call it DNA. D is it's the sporty dynamic
one.
Yep. N is for I was going to say normal, but it's called natural in the Alfa.
Yep.
And the A is the most fuel efficient mode called advanced efficiency. So yeah, like Alfa, I think, the Italians love to do things a little bit differently, and that's what comes across in this car.
Mm.
Like I think it competes with the the three big German cars.
Yes.
But it does it differently, doesn't it?
It's done in an Italian way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
Which
they haven't
is-
just cookie cutted, something
No.
else and grab parts from other bits and stuff. It feels like quite a unique car.
And that's a good thing, I think. Something different. It is such a fun car to drive. Like every time I jump in this thing, I've just got this big smile on my face, isn't
Yep.
it? It's great, and
Yep.
it it's turning out to be family friendly too. Like it's. I mean, we chatted about the doors earlier, didn't we? Like
Yeah, even the doors are a bit different. They're a bit smaller.
A bit
It
smaller,
doesn't seem to stop you getting in and out of the car comfortably.
I don't have
I
that
haven't
issue.
even noticed it
but-
at all.
I don't know about you, but
No.
yeah, it's kind of weird. Like when you and I think it's purely on the styling of the car. That's why it's got a sort of a longer nose and rear compared to the doors. But the styling just translates to be so really nice. But again, that's probably one of the compromises of this car. But you know what, you'd forgive it that.
I'd call it a design feature.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's part of the styling, so that's okay.
Yeah,
it
that's
doesn't
right.
really get in the way. You talked about the family friendliness.
Yeah.
We're talking about a car that's not a huge car, but it's more than enough space for the kids in the back.
Yeah,
I sat in
that's
the back earlier, and I felt reasonably comfortable. It's probably not really long journey sort of stuff in the back, but it was okay. And we looked at the boot as well, where the boot
A little
it's
bit
deepish,
yeah,
but it's not
bit
hasn't got the
shallow,
height.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So prams, that sort of stuff, you'd have to check
may-
it out
Yeah,
before
you may find it a bit compromising that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, you mentioned long trips. I don't think it would be too bad. It's got the rear vents in the back. It's got a USB port in the back.
Yeah. It's all set up.
The rear seats fold in like a 40-20-40 sort of split, don't they? So
Yep.
yeah, which isn't too bad.
So there's heaps of functionality.
Yeah, which is good. And I think headroom in the back was okay for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be much more taller than 6 foot or so, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that covers most people.
Now, I think a lot of people, when they think of Italian cars, they think of a little bit of a compromised driving position. The traditional sort of long arm sort of driving position in older Alphas of old, I suppose. But this one, it's fine, isn't it? Like
It's very comfortable.
Yeah, everything's adjustable. You've got good steering column adjustment. You're sitting low in the car too, so you're feeling it as sporty as possible, I suppose.
And I think the other thing to note too, in terms of the driving position, everything's wrapped around the driver here, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and we'll get to the look and feel inside the car, but it's certainly wrapped right around the driver. It's a good driving car.
Yeah, very much so.
So we focus on a lot of the details and everything, but at the end of the day, it comes down to how does this car just drive around the city, because that's the way most people are using this car, right?
Yeah.
And I've got to say the brakes seem sort of over-spec'd, which is terrific.
Yep.
The engine is more than capable in the base model.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's quite sporty.
Yep.
It
It
takes
sounds
off
okay.
reasonably well, but even after 20, it really takes off.
Yeah,
So
you feel that
it's-
torque, don't
yeah.
you? Yeah, that's right.
So really enjoying that, and we talked about the steering and stuff before. It's like very direct. So
Yeah.
it's a very easy car to drive. Yeah.
Going on about the infotainment and stuff like that, I love how they've done this infotainment system. It's an 8.8 inch sort of screen here, but it's integrated into the dash. Everybody else seems to be putting their
A bit like an afterthought. They just threw it on top of the
yeah,
dash.
like,
right? A
like,
lot of the
like an
other
iPad on top of the
manufacturers.
dash and
Yeah.
that. This thing's integrated, and it just looks brilliant when you start it up from cold, doesn't it? So it
Yep.
just lights up and everything. It's not a touch screen. I've got to say, it's probably got everything that everybody else seems to have. It's just that it's probably not quite up there to their standard, I suppose. Like the quality of the graphics, the how fast it actually reacts and stuff like that. But you know what? Again, I'd forgive it that. Like,
Yeah, I used it. I didn't have an issue with it. I love the dual screen on it. So,
Yeah.
you know, you've got the nav up, you've got the stereo. I think that's what other people are doing.
Yeah.
I felt very comfortable with navigating through it, but yeah.
yeah. But I think the thing we both mentioned, those paddles, aren't they gorgeous?
Oh, I'm playing with them right now. Yeah. So the good thing about the paddles is they're actually on the shift, on the column, sorry.
Yeah.
And so they don't turn with the steering wheel, so
Yeah,
they're
I
just
like that.
always there predictably. So as you're going around a corner, you're not trying to search for where the paddles are on the steering wheel, which angle they're pointing at.
Yep.
And they're huge. So yeah, it feels really nice. So, yeah, there's a few things that feel like being really well integrated and designed in this car. One, the screen, as we talked about, it's not sort of an afterthought. It's
Yep.
very much part of the whole experience in the car. The paddles and
That stop-start button, isn't it?
the stop-start button's on
On
the
the
steering
steering
wheel, just
wheel.
like a Ferrari or something, right? It's not lit up in red or yellow or anything, but seriously, we keep saying, one of my bugbears, I think, is that the stop-start buttons seem to have been very much an afterthought in a lot of cars.
Yeah.
They're hidden behind the steering wheel, you have to look for them.
Yep.
It's the thing you use every time you get in the car.
Yeah.
It should be in the most prevalent spot, and these guys have thought of that. It's right on the steering wheel.
Yep.
It doesn't only look good, it's very functional.
I reckon, you know, to make it perfect, if you put that DNA button on the other side of the steering wheel, perfect. You can just
Very
control
sporty
everything.
then.
Yeah, yeah. No, that'd be a really good thing. So,
The tech and and probably more importantly the safety features, you know, really
yes.
important in the family car. So
Yeah.
you know, we're always making sure that ticks all the boxes.
yeah,
I think
it's
that's
actually got a good suite of safety features for a, sort of an entry-level car too. Like it's got forward collision warning. It's got AEB as well, autonomous braking, up to 65k an hour too, which is pretty good.
much more than some of the other cars we've seen.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's got IBS, which is not irritable bowel syndrome, which is like an integrated braking sort of setup, electromechanical, which sort of increases your ability to stop quicker distances. In the wet, for example, it'll like touch the brakes to keep the rotors dry by itself and everything, which is really good. That's right. Lane departure warning is standard on the car. Front and rear sensors standard. Reversing camera. So it's got a lot of safety gear. Yeah, a lot of good safety gear. Probably just have to say one thing though, like the unfortunately, like Alphas of old have that sort of traditional, how long is this thing going to last sort of thing, don't they?
Had a checkered run in Australia, let's put it out there. It's like the elephant in the room, right? So I think, and I think that could still affect resale value, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. But this one, I mean, look, it comes with cap price servicing as well, which is really good.
Yeah.
So
That's up to 5 years, I think, as well. 5 years
Is it?
cap
Okay.
price servicing, yeah.
But the warranty, 3 year, 150,000k. Everybody else at least has got 3 year unlimited, don't they? So, I'd personally think, to give that confidence in the brand, in the car, you've got to at least match the competition, don't you? So,
That's right. We think 3 years is a little bit underspec these days, and you've got, some of them up there at 7. Yep.
yeah.
So what we're really saying is it ticks all the boxes. When we start comparing it to the competitors in this space, the Audis, the BMWs, the other people that are playing in this same space, which is probably quite a crowded space.
Yeah.
It's at that price point. This seems to tick all the boxes.
Yeah, and we spoke about it earlier. It's like a lot of people love their German cars, as we know, and they just limit themselves to the big three, the Audi, BMW, Mercedes, and even to the point where some people just go, oh, I'm a BMW person, I just want BMWs all the time. And I've got to say, this, if you've never sort of tried an Alfa or something like that, give it a go. This is the one I think you should give it a go with.
Yep.
It is such a car that just, like I said, puts a smile on your face every time you drive it. It's different, but different in a good way. I mean, the styling of this car, like, this particular one's white with this gorgeous red leather interior.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the Alfa logos on the seats, and it just comes across as just something special, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, some other brands, like we say, the German ones, I suppose, every model that comes out just looks pretty much the same. It's more of an evolution of the original sort of styling of it. But, Alfa do take their styling cues, but God, they know how to style a car. And probably leads on to my question, X Factor. I'd be looking back at this thing and walking into walls or something, wouldn't I? It's great.
We've answered that question positively on a few cars lately, which is really great to see the manufacturers doing stuff that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But the front of this car is always that signature Alfa Romeo. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It really looks great.
Just
that
from
beautiful
every
big
angle,
grille,
I
love
think it just looks gorgeous, this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. So, okay, just want to put a big thank you out to our friends at Fiat Chrysler Australia for the loan of the Alfa Giulia today. It's been a really good eye-opener for us to see Alfa's back, I reckon.
It's exciting having something different on the market, and people
Yeah.
should go and try this out.
Oh,
because I think
so.
it'll get people excited. Yeah.
Definitely. And just a big thank you to everybody out there for watching. So I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
No, ciao.
Ciao.